Hello, everybody. Az here. Welcome back to the show, guys. Today is an amazing day. We've just received the news that the Michael biopic has reached the $1 billion mark. Joining me today are the wonderful Russ and Mike. Guys, how are you doing? Finally, the day has come. How are we feeling?
I couldn't help but notice Mike had some champagne there, so I thought maybe I'd go ahead and suit up for this discussion.
Absolutely, gentlemen. And gentlemen, my first question to you two is going to be, how did we get here?
I do not know.
I will answer that with the last quote that's in the on-screen of the movie. This is it. Love lives forever. That's how. Because
love lives forever.
We talked about this at length as before, either right before or right after the biopic came out. You can't hold this man back, because it's not about I've always said to people, whenever I've had a conversation with somebody about, oh, well, you only defend him because you're a fan. And I always tell people, there's no song good enough to make people this loyal to a person, because it's not about just the music. It's about the message, the influence. There's no one else ever that you can see footage of them their entire career where people of all walks of life are being brought together by them, right? So, of course, this movie was gonna, if it was any good at all, it was going to, and I think all of us agree. We've discussed it. The movie so much exceeded my expectations. All of us wanted it to do was give him some sort of justice isn't even the right word. Hey, I want people to see what I see in this guy. And that's what every person that I went and saw it with in the theater, every person that I've known online that's I didn't even know that much about him, but I saw it, they all I came away understanding him more. And that's all of us wanted.
I mean, if you cast your mind back, guys, right, to a couple of years ago, there was delays, then there was pictures leaking out. And I always remember a friend of mine growing up, Paul, one of my best friends, and I was frustrated because I was impatient when I was younger. And he said, time is always moving. I didn't really kind of understand what he meant at the time, but the older you get, I mean, it's just incredible to sort of know that, it's not a case now of will it be $1 billion movie. It is $1 billion movie. It all, soon it was $1 billion movie. It'll possibly move past that. Just incredible to think that time has just gone so fast with this. I can't believe that we've had sort of years of waiting and build up, and now it's just been and gone. But it's still out there. Obviously, it's exploded into the stratosphere. I have a new mic, guys, and it lights up. So
fantastic.
I'm looking at that. It's like a new toy. It's probably not the best mic. It's probably rubbish, but it's got a light on it. It's got a light.
Yeah, we can hear you fine, and it lights up. So
I'm too loud. My apologies, but
it's fine.
I mean, guys, here we are. I don't even know what to say. Definitely share to everybody.
Cheers to everybody here. And guys, we finally, after all these years, we finally got our moment, because that moment, it was feeling like it was never, ever going to happen. Since this is it, we never, ever thought we were going to have a moment like this again. And I mean, meeting Az and obviously meeting Russ for the first time today. Russ is in Florida, Az is in Preston. I'm here in Manchester, in Worsley. But I have to say, I want to toast this to every critic. I want to toast this to every single person who said Michael Jackson was guilty, because all of you now are celebrating him like me, Az, and Russ. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. It's quite emotional, isn't it? The fact that that we're here now with $1 billion movie. How many times did you all see it? I mean, I've seen it 6 times, and I feel like in comparison to other people, it's minute to say the least.
I went to the theater 5 times. 5 times. And then because here in the U.S., it's down here in Jacksonville, in the major markets, L.A. and New York, it's still playing, but down here, it's out of theater right So I bought the digital version the morning it came out, and kind of let it play in the background while I was working, and then we actually like watched it proper on Saturday night, like through the home theater and everything. So all told, 7 now. But and again, you look at some reports online, and it's like, oh well, I haven't done enough.
One of them.
Yeah.
How many times did you see it? You've seen it like
13.
Well done.
13.
13 times.
When you say 13, is that 13 times in the theater, or?
So we saw it 13 times in the theater. So I can't remember how many times we saw it in IMAX. We saw it in 4DX. We saw it in Dolby Surround sound as well. So, gentlemen, I can't really think off the top of my head, but I'm so glad we are in this age. Do you know what was incredible yesterday when me and my daughter were at the park? We had 3 children come past on their bikes, and they were all playing Michael Jackson. They were 4, 6, and 10 years old, and I got goosebumps. They came over and spoke to us. We showed them the picture with Janet, but we got goosebumps because it was reminding me of what you've spoken about, Russ, what Az has spoken about. It was bringing me back to that heyday, that incredible heyday when nobody said anything bad about this man. And I have to tell you, I can't believe us 3 are having this conversation right now. I said to Az coming on here, Russ, today, I'm so looking forward to this because this is our moment. This is Michael's moment. This is the fans' moment. And like I said earlier, no critic, no Netflix documentary can stop this.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. I mean, I was at work last week, and there was a kid in the house next door, and he played Billie Jean and Beat It. I could hear it through the wall where I was working. The staff room is upstairs in the house. I couldn't believe it.
Amazing.
When I say young, like a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
Delight.
You know, it's funny when you talk about like younger people listening to this. I actually had to have like almost like a counseling session with my son. He'll be 21, so he's not young or anything. But he was telling me that he's having that feeling he's trying to overcome, where a bunch of guys at his work have like openly made fun of him for listening to Michael Jackson so much for months and months and months and months. And now Biopic hits. And now they're all of a sudden the biggest fans in the world.
Unbelievable, gentlemen.
And I told him, I said, you're talking to the world's foremost authority about feeling some kind of way about when the topic of Michael Jackson comes up. I said, listen, I have people who in my life have told me for years how insane I am for believing he's innocent or just being so dedicated to him. And I said, they've turned around, and I just try and be like, okay, well, how would Michael want me to handle this? Like he wouldn't want me to put a wall up or whatever. He just want me to be like, okay, come on in. My son was like, but it's so hard. I was like, brother, listen, you were born in 2006. I'm like, I've been dealing with this since 1993. Like, like, trust me, so it's awesome. And I'm glad I'm at a point where I can really appreciate it. Because if this was even 10 years ago, I'd be standing on the street corner with copies of history. And like, when people come by to ask me about it, I would be like, I would bring up their personal social media, like that scene in I think it's Jay and Silent Bob, where with the thing, they're like, do you post on movie as this, and then when people ask me, I'd be like, see this, you can't have history now, you can't have this now, So, but now I'm able to just celebrate it and welcome everyone in, which is ultimately what I think.
But gentlemen, isn't the word hypocrisy a powerful word?
It is. It's a very powerful word, and I mean, we've all had those situations, haven't we, where we've sort of been laughed at and mocked and joked, and then,
but yet they found their way to the cinema. They've somehow found their way to pay for the ticket, find their way through that cinema door, sit down and sing the songs, gentlemen.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy, but
It's funny.
It goes to show as well how easily influenced the public are. You know, they go with what they think is the overall sort of opinion or something, and
I had this conversation as with my cousin a few weeks ago. I said to my cousin, "It's incredible, isn't it?" And he said, "What is?" I said, "Everybody's celebrating this man now. A couple of weeks ago, they were calling him a paedophile.
Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable."
You know, it's interesting. I was talking to my wife about that I think some of the most angry moments I've ever had in my entire life were that, you know, up until about noon Eastern time on June 25th, 2009, everybody had a joke about Michael Jackson and children. Then at about 10 minutes after noon, everybody in the world became the world's biggest Michael Jackson fan. Listen, like I was just saying about, you know, talking to my son about the way to handle things. I spent years angry about that. Like, it takes the man passing away for you to suddenly acknowledge that, like, he was a human being. You know, the fact that, like, here in the States, like these big prominent shows, Good Morning America and we're doing these things. Did you know Michael Jackson had vitiligo? Yeah, because he tried to tell us the whole time. And you not only mocked him for something that he couldn't help, but he went around telling everyone that it wasn't true, that he also. But then, like, as soon as he passes away, now you've got TV time to you know, do this touching tribute with.
Yeah, and he's the second coming.
Yeah, so and I sound like I'm still mad about it. I'm not. But I spent years, you know.
You don't forget, Russ.
No, but Russ, I agree with you. You forgive, but you don't forget.
No, you don't.
This man changed everybody's lives. And I've said this before, whether you love him or you hate him, this man has changed the world of entertainment. And he's not even here, Russ. He's not even here as.
Has the Michael Jackson fandom sort of missed a generation, right? So there's us. So what are we? Gen X?
I'm Gen X, yeah.
I'm Gen X. Yeah, we're Gen X. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So we're Gen X. I think you're just in the Gen X. You're in Gen X.
I am, but I don't think there's been a generation that's missed him. There's an unspoken word. Everybody listens to this man's music, but a lot of people will not admit to it out of fear of conversation. Oh, you like Michael Jackson? Oh, you like Michael Jackson? But yet that person that's saying, oh, you like Michael Jackson, they've just been listening to the Thriller album. It's unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
When you say did this skip a generation, this is kind of funny. So everyone on my team except for me was born 1,000 years ago. Like, I'm by far
we're 21, Russ. We're 21.
Yeah. I'm gonna be 29 this year, Russ. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For the third time for me. So, you know, to give you a very quick story to give you an idea of like how much younger everybody is. So we were on like a team thing on a weekend one time, like on a Friday, and everybody was just like, oh, hey, what's everyone doing this weekend? You know? And I said, oh, my wife and I are going tonight to see, I forget who all the lineup was. Oh, Collective Soul and Live and Our Lady Peace. And so I said, so in short, if you were alive in the 90s, we're going to hear every song you heard on the radio. Like, and as I was saying it, I could go over everyone else's eyes on their webcam, you know,
glazed over faces.
Then I realized none of them were alive in the 90s. Like, when I said that,
that's incredible.
Yeah, and I was just kind of like, all right, well, old man's gonna go enjoy it. Now that sets the people for this though. So the week of the biopic, like me being me, I knew this thing was going to be huge. You know.
Yeah, we all did.
Well, yeah. So we have our work meeting on Teams, and you know, and our team's like very like free and loose. And somebody said, you know, like, oh, hey, you know, it's Monday. I have nothing to look forward to, whatever else. So I put a GIF of MJ moonwalking, and I said, oh, I got everything to look forward to this week. I said, happy Michael Jackson movie week, everybody. And there was like no reaction. Like everybody was just kind of like, oh, all right. Okay, so here's where I'm getting to. So my boss, who is he's from Norway, and he got to see MJ on the I think the history tour. So anyways, he said in the meeting, so is Michael Jackson even relevant these days? And I mean, the chat just lit up with all these kids. No, I don't listen to it. No. Like, and it wasn't like, oh, because of this. It was that, like you said, as like their generation just kind of got skipped, right? So putting a fine point on it, this one person put in the chat, I listen to the real King of Pop, Justin Bieber. And hold on. So I said, I'm going to screen cap this and revisit this later. So I did.
Yeah. Right.
Literally the next week, Michael Jackson was the #1 global artist. And as if Michael himself was like, here's a gift, Justin Bieber was #2. So I screen capped that. And I went back to the chat and I was like, hey, everybody, I just wanted to address one real quick point from last week's meeting that we have to circle back. And they all think I'm going to hit something professional, right? So then I put a screen cap of her, Justin Bieber is the real King of Pop. And then I go, I just wanted to follow up with this point here and put the screen cap of that. And I mean, everybody was like, oh my God, I can't believe you followed through on that. I'm like, I can't believe something like that was said. So,
It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. I mean, this is the thing, right? Sorry, Mike, you go.
I was going to say, you have to laugh because you will cry, and it's always better to laugh. But like I said, gentlemen, the hypocrisy of people is quite literally unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's quite literally unbelievable. We had the discussion, I think it was on the last episode or the one before, Russ. We said, they were trying to say Harry Styles was the new king of pop. Why? No, but the question is why? We know why, because you really know who the real king of pop is. And you don't want Michael Jackson to still be right at the top. You will say everything you can to try and stop him. But what's incredible, the man is dead, so we say. The man is dead. And you know what's incredible? This film is now the biggest biopic of all time. I'm going to say that again. All time. To your colleague that said the real king of pop, Justin Bieber, of all time, Michael Jackson's biopic is the greatest biopic, the most grossing biopic of all time.
Not just musical, and not just musical, biopic, period.
And you know what? That's funny. For weeks, I've been dying to drop the word music from it. Like, because we knew it was going to be the biggest music biopic of all time. Like,
we knew that.
So I've been waiting for the day that I can just drop that qualifier out of the sentence and just say, nope, biggest biopic of all time,
Yeah.
And when you talk about hypocrisy, I point little things out to people that, because there's a certain amount of people, like when you defend MJ and whatnot, it's interesting because people will come at you and then just say like wildly untrue things, right? And then when you start knowing your facts and you start educating them, that's a bit obsessive, and it's like, well, no, you can't just go around saying things about like an innocent person, right? So like, I'm gonna present you with opposing facts,
Yeah.
But so there's little things that happen with MJ that I point out to people that they're always like, holy crap, I never noticed that like those things are happening. So the streaming service that you mentioned earlier, they have that special, The Greatest Night in Pop, We Are the World. I don't know anybody who doesn't instantly equate We Are the World to Michael Jackson, right?
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who, if you watched that special on their streaming service before the biopic came out, the thumbnail for it literally had everybody who was there except for Michael. The Greatest Night in Pop, Story We Are the World.
Are you serious with that?
Oh no, hold on. You're going to get to see it because they switched it back. So when the biopic,
no way,
the thumbnail to just a picture of MJ.
No way.
Like the sunglasses, the famous.
Yeah.
The picture of him, and it's same logo. Greatest Night in Pop, We Are the World. right?
Mm.
And they just made their enormous mistake of bringing out their latest, documentary.
Mhm.
The thumbnail is back to how it was.
What?
Yep. So if you go on that streaming service and you look for it, you'll see the thumbnail that has everybody else involved except for MJ. But for the couple of weeks while the biopic was big,
Mm.
they put his face front and center. And
Gentlemen, I've got to ask you a question.
When you notice that,
Do you think there is an unspoken thing in Hollywood or the entertainment sector, or should I say the power struggle? They don't want Michael Jackson to have that power, that place that he had. And like you just said, Russ, and I really didn't know that they did that. They removed it, then they put it up, and then they removed it again. Mm-hmm. They've tried to erase this man on multiple occasions. Do you remember the cancel culture that happened?
Mm-hmm.
And it's still going on now, still in progress, right? But remember, they tried to cancel Michael Jackson multiple times, yet they still played him on the radio, they still showed him on TV, and they still spoke about him in print media. So what does that tell you? They're trying to erase him, but yet they're still using him for their own gain and their own advantage. What was so interesting about the biopic, it really did reflect reality.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's funny because I lived through it. My wife is about pretty much right on 10 years younger than me. So she wasn't there for the Thriller, boom. She didn't see it. What?
I said, show off. Oh. You said your wife is 10 years younger. I said, show off.
And she's got a couple of degrees, and she's
wow.
I'm aware. I'm aware that I pulled something off here. So she didn't see all of that in person, right? And you can't describe it to someone if they weren't there. The guy was at heights that people just don't even can't even wrap their head around. And I've shown her things online and whatnot, but on YouTube and whatnot, but it still doesn't do anything, right? And the first time we saw the biopic, that was one of the things that she said was she came away with that she's like, I kind of got it now, how big he was at that time, because there's scenes where Michael comes out in the car, in he's
here listening to you, Russ, by the way. He's just here.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Mike. Mike and Mike. And then so when we leave, I can physically show her a picture and go, hey, they didn't make that up. Literally all of Manhattan was gathered around this man. Look at this. And she was just like, I can't even, holy cow. And then I started listing off for her into world records. And this is not a critique of the film, to be clear. I'm not going, oh, they left this out. But I was like, this man's life was so fantastical that they left out, the morning after Motown 25, he got a call from Gene Kelly.
Yeah.
And this man's life was so fantastical that they were like, well, we don't have time to address the phone call from Gene, right? He knew so many Elizabeth Taylor and all these, and they were like, well, this man's life is so fantastical, we don't have time to even show that, They are the world. And again, I want to be clear, this is not a laundry list of they left this out. What I'm saying is, I was saying that to her, I'm like, there are so many things that they didn't even have time to address because nobody's led a life like this ever. And so now she really gets it. She's like, I can't even. She's like, and I said, all of us saw it in real time. With
the White House inviting him.
Yeah, and they were like, well, no time for the White House.
Jackie Kennedy, for God's sakes, going to the Thriller set.
Yeah, and
they haven't got time to show all this stuff.
Yep. And I told my wife, I said, when those of us who were around saw this happening in real time, we couldn't believe it either. And
no,
one of us,
it was amazing. It's really resonated with the younger people, hasn't it? It's really.
Oh my God, yeah. Every child at my daughter's school is moonwalking in the playground, gentlemen. They were all telling me yesterday.
It sort of reflects something that we're missing from society today, doesn't it? Something different. There's something pure and beautiful and simplistic about it as well.
It's bringing everybody together. The man is not even here. Like Russ said earlier, this man is not even here, and the power of his music and his presence is bringing people together in times that we're currently living in. Unbelievable.
And ultimately, you know, I really want this to be more of a celebration than a negative thing, but you know, that's why they don't like him. I am certain that being a person of color has something to do with it, or
yeah.
Right. But I don't care what color Michael Jackson was. It's the unity that quote unquote they, you know, the powers that be, the media and the big companies, they can't have that. Division sells. Division, right? And that's what I was thinking about, Mike, when you said, you know, they tried to cancel him, but they'll still try and use him. Yeah, because Michael Jackson's the number one way to make money online. You can go online and say whatever you want, and you put Michael Jackson in the title, and you're going to get clicks. Period. You know, and I keep telling other Michael Jackson fans, I'm like, we have got to stop glorifying these outlets that do this, because once we prove to them that there's no money to be made in saying untrue and negative things about Michael Jackson, they'll stop doing it. We need to prove to everyone that there's, and I think the biopic has a huge part in this. We need to prove to everybody that there's money to be made in saying true and positive things. And once we do that, that's what we'll start seeing more of. And that's my hope with the biopic doing this business is, it seems to me like it's going to have longer legs than this. Like, you remember up until, you know, shortly after This Is It came out, how the whole world at that time was doing the same thing. Oh, Jackson so much, you know, I touched on it earlier. Yeah. But it kind of faded away. And then when the positivity train stopped, that's when the media was like, oh, we can make money on being negative about him again. Right.
I'm going to ask you something, guys. Are they going to do another biopic or not?
Yeah, it's greenlit.
So, okay. So they're definitely doing it. How can I say this? I think you both know what I'm going to say. They are going to mirror what they have done. They are not going to put themselves in a situation where, from what Russ has just said and from what you've said, where the wave changes and then all of a sudden, instead of celebrating this man, they start using him just exactly like what Russ just said. So they're going to be very, very careful with this part 2.
How are they going to do this part 2? How are they going to present
This is my question. This is my question from what Russ has just said. They celebrate him, as we're all doing now. All those 3 are on here. We're celebrating him like everybody else, right? Right now. If we come back in a few years from what we've spoken about today, how are they going to respond? And with the hypocrisy, if there's anything that's shown in the film that could be deemed people don't understand or they can't put their heads around it, they are going to go on that wave of what Russ just said. They are going to follow that train of Michael was guilty. This proves it. Go and watch this new film. This proves everything. In this film, and this is what the critics have quietly disappeared for now, up until that point, the very last shot, there was no controversy. There was no controversy in that man's life up until that point. And this is why this film has done what it's done. It celebrates everything. Part 2 is going to delve even more into his life. How are people going to get onto that train? That's my question to you two.
I'm genuinely curious and intrigued how they're going to present a part 2. What I think though is that, like, no matter what, this right. So we know 2 things, right? The first thing we know is that no matter what they do, the media won't agree with it. So they're damned if they do, they're damned if they don't.
Right.
The second thing is they don't need. this has proved that they don't need the media's approval.
No,
They don't
no.
need the media's approval. I went to see Justin, what's his name, Timberlake a few years ago with my wife in Manchester. And before he came on, they had a DJ, and he played some tunes from Off the Wall. Now, this was 3 years ago. And
Right.
the whole arena was singing Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. They were
Right.
celebrating. And honest to God, it was a moment. It was such a moment. So this has proved that society no longer cares about the media. The media is no longer relevant. There's a newer generation who are much more in tune and open about their feelings, their sexuality, their issues. They're the people who are sort of more tuned into Michael, I think, as a human being and a person. I don't think it matters. I mean, the media will never sort of go along with what they feel they're being dictated to. As far as the media still feel, they want to control the narrative. They want to dictate how things play out. They want it to be guilty.
Like I said, because division sells,
Right.
like the division and hot takes and all that, that's what sells. It's like every couple of years, and I don't even like saying the name, but every couple of years, Rolling Stone likes to do these, 100 greatest singers.
They do.
And they do that specifically, and they rank people lower and whatever, specifically so their online fan bases will do their advertising for them.
Right. Of course, yeah.
It's like you know that Whitney Houston is a far better vocalist than they didn't do this, but you guys are aware that Whitney Houston is a way better vocalist than Taylor Swift. You just rank Taylor Swift above so you could get to cause division and get clicks, because that's what sells, right? If you put out a list that 100 greatest albums of all time, and you have the nerve to put Thriller at the top, and even another MJ album or two in the top 10, people are just going to look at the list and go, yep, that's about right, and they're not going to like reshare it and outrage, and you know what I mean. So like that's why they do this. Now, to answer your question specifically, Mike, here's the thing: we all know they can't address what happened in '93. Okay, but and none of us know. I don't have any idea what that legal agreement looks like, but I don't know if that means they can't say the names involved or what. But my hope is that in the second film, because there's so much to celebrate in the second half of MJ's life that most people don't know about. And Super Bowl has got to be covered in there. Dangerous Run, wild success of that.
Yes, please.
Even the things like that we all know, but like we know, like the fact that like all the networks ran the black or white debut at the same time, like things like that are like necessary to throw in there. However, what I'm hoping is that whatever is in place legally, there's enough wiggle room there to where they can just kind of have a shift where suddenly Michael is like very upset and dealing with this, and they could at least reference like that he's so upset because of this huge thing that happened, and then just kind of move on and show how he does. Like me personally, my favorite Michael Jackson album is History Continues. I think like Scream to Smile is just like I can't wrap my head around having the whole world, the media say this about me, and then the entire world, the court of public opinion, just decide that I'm guilty and then react in that way and make a record that starts out with Scream and it has every right to be as angry as he is through the entire LP, and then have the nerve to end the record with Smile, and just you know what, hey, life is still worthwhile when you smile. And you're like, coming from you, like the dude who's going through it, like, and I think that there's a way to present that to this happened. It wasn't true. I don't know if we can say that again, but but move that more into showing like how even in the world's most dire stance, he was still victorious.
Yes.
We have it lead up to the massive success of the History tour, and because other than here in the U.S., everybody was still on the Michael Jackson train. Like, you know, you don't have footage of the history tour that we do if he wasn't having massive success, right?
Yeah.
So that's my hope is that, because that's how you still get that celebratory thing. That's how people come out of the theater with the same way they did from this one and go, oh, I didn't know that. Like, you know, I know so many people who think History is just the greatest hits album, like to this day. Like they don't even know that there's this massive amount of awesome work in there, right? So I really feel like there's a good way to frame that, to show like how to make that the story that he overcame all of this and still had this massive success while dealing with so many other things, you know, his vitiligo getting worse and the lupus nobody knew about. And, you know, and again, media wouldn't like this at all, but show how much worse the media was getting, but make the main story that he was overcoming, you know.
Yeah.
That's my hope. Let me say, I think that's the only way to do it.
Did you know they went up to 1996? Did you watch the making of Michael?
Yeah.
I found that fascinating when Jafar went into the house and you saw the whole timeline, and he said specifically they went up to 1996. And I tried to zoom in to see what picture it was, but I think the last shot they ended on was the Earth song.
That'd be great.
I mean, that's fitting, isn't it?
And it is really fitting from what Russ just said, as well as having it on a high and having him overcome something. He's responding, obviously, to how people are affecting him, how people are saying all these things about him and accusing him. But again, what Russ said, giving it that feel of how this first one has been, but then having it on such a high that it gives that same. I said this to Russ when we spoke about we did the other episode. I feel, to me, and probably to you too, and to every Michael Jackson fan, this is our version of Rocky with Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about overcoming. It's having every obstacle against you, even your own family, for goodness sakes. And yet he managed to overcome and break away from his family, even with how much pressure he was under, and the fact that they woven him so much into their DNA, he still found a way to get out.
It'll be interesting to see what way it goes, whether they present something darker or more sort of in line with what we've just had, what we've just seen. It's going to be very fascinating.
I mean, the cynic in me will tell you this: they're I mean, ultimately, they're in this to make money, and you're not gonna sell more Michael Jackson albums, copies of the movie, so on and so forth, if it's not presented in the right light.
Yeah.
You know, so, and I'm not saying they shouldn't cover anything. Like, Michael made a lot of like poor decisions and you know, had some, which I still would argue is more reactionary than anything, but you know, there was a lot of things, there was a lot of faults to him that they can cover in the 90s, but I think the idea is that they set the table in the first film for, you know, there's a line from Catherine in the first film, when they're at the table and Michael's trying to convince her to buy the llama, and
yes,
and Catherine says, "Don't ever let anybody take your light away, not even yourself." And I think that, and then that's the scene from Joe where he's in the bedroom trying to talk Michael into the victory tour, and Joe goes out and gets right in his face and says, you know, like, nobody out here is going to understand, like, what do you want a bunch of people around you who just tell you yes all the time? I think those two lines are in that first movie specifically to set that later. But again, from a human empathy standpoint, like, you can understand why those things happen, like why, you know, like how ended up making some poor decisions about who he had around him and whatnot. And I think that's the idea, is they're going to frame it that way. Like, you know, which my hope is, you know, the most frustrating thing for me from this biopic is when you see, like, I guess long time or the I'm a bigger fan than you people online from and they go, you know, oh, well, my thing is I came out of the movie and I didn't learn anything new about him.
Oh,
I'm a Michael Jackson fan since I was 7 years old. I'm one of the biggest MJ fans. I know a ton about the guy, and I walked out of the movie feeling like I knew him better.
of course.
So like how
Yeah.
you feel that way? Yeah.
I really don't know. And again, as I try not to understand people like that, I mean, ultimately, how did you not walk out of this feeling the feeling that everybody else is feeling?
I think that's the thing. Like, I mean, like, it's about sort of taking heart from it and being reminded who Michael was and sort of just celebrating who he was. You don't necessarily need to go into these things to learn about what his favorite thing for breakfast was, or
No.
people get too sort of bogged down with trivia and wanting to know every little detail about someone's personal life. It's reminding the world, it's shining a light on a time that was much. I don't want to say that like there's not. We're in a different world now, and that was a different time, and catalyst for bringing people together in a much different time. As Russ said, if you were there and you lived through it, it was unbelievable.
Did you see him live, Ross?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I never actually got to ask or say to Az, did Russ see Michael live? Where did you see him live?
I'm not talking to Russ now.
Yeah.
Go on.
Az is about to be almost as upset as when Maddie sees my history final. He gets real upset over that. But yeah, I saw Michael on the first leg of the Bad tour, second leg, in the U.S. The first U.S. run when it was still in arenas.
Wow, was this in the show in Florida?
No, in Detroit. I grew up in Detroit. I moved to Florida 4 years ago.
Right.
Arena show in America, one in the early '88.
Wow, in Detroit. Wow.
We're of 87, and I will send you as I have the newspaper ad for when the tickets went on sale.
Wow.
And it's funny, the tickets went on sale for the shows. He ended up playing 6 nights at the Palace of Auburn Hills, which seats like 20,000 people.
Right.
The tickets for the show went on sale the day after my birthday, and then the show was in October of the same but October of '87. Yeah, and it was
wow.
I can't remember if I shared this story on as a show or not. I know I've told it on my wife's podcast and whatnot, but anytime somebody does a meme about someone fainting at a Michael Jackson concert, I feel personally attacked because I in every way fainted at a Michael Jackson concert. When you have an arena, you have your usual circular arena like everybody has, and you have the end stage set up, right?
Yeah.
We went into that show. It was just my mom and I went. And my mom was feeling bad because she thought that she didn't get good tickets, and because all she could get was side stage, and I didn't care. They could have sold us a ticket in the bathroom, and I was sure. So when we got there, we were like, because this is the arena version, so there wasn't the huge like MJJ logos, and like it was an open.
Right.
So we were 50 feet away from him.
Wow.
Yeah, and so he came out and he pointed in our general direction, and I just went down. Like as soon as he just went boom like that, and I was like down. So
wow.
Yeah, I missed the rest of. I missed after the first 4 seconds. We want one.
Ross, you got another part of me, didn't you? Got it.
So that's the thing is I was out during the rest
Heartbreak.
of something Heartbreak Hotel, and
Right.
I came to in first aid, and I was like sitting there. I remember this like it was yesterday. I was just sitting there being like, oh, what happened? And then I could hear and I'm like Michael Jackson's performing. Ran out of first aid, and I booked out of first aid. My mom goes running after me because I was 12 at the time. I go running out of first aid. My mom goes running after me, and then the first aid people come like running after my mom because they need her to sign a thing that says you're not going to sue us because you got injured at this concert, right? So we get all the way back up to our seats, and the people are like right behind my mom, like a whole team of people, and they got flashlights and stuff. And my mom turns around in like the most ferocious lioness voice ever, and she goes, "Back off! You will let him enjoy Michael Jackson." And it was great, and they all did. All of them backed off. All of them. It was awesome. And then literally, I went back to my seat, and this is the cap for the story. But I went back to my seat, and literally the entire rest of the concert, I like held on to both sides of the chair, like I just sat and held on to both sides of the chair because I was like, I don't know if I'm going to go down again, you know. So, yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, it was a hell of a show. What's funny is if you go on YouTube, you can look up like Michael Jackson Palace of Watertown, and there's like 1 minute of footage from like media footage of the actual show that I was at. And
No way.
Here's the thing, it's wannabe starting something, but the footage cuts right before he points.
Oh no.
I always tell my wife, I'm always like, that's probably that's my evidence away. I'm convinced he did it on purpose. He was like,
I loved it because he would point, and it was that orchestral boom. You know, it was that powerful boom with the synths and all the instrumentation. It was like boom. Imagine,
wow.
Or like Russ saw Michael at a time where he reached a new level of fame. So it's literally like seeing the Wizard of Oz, like
literally.
And it's in a 20,000 seater, which is as intimate as you're going to get for Michael Jackson at that height in an indoor show at the zenith of something new. It just blows my mind.
Russ, can I ask you a question? Because I never got to see him live, right? I got to see Prince live. Hey, we've got an interesting episode coming for that, ladies and gentlemen.
I got to see Prince 4 times.
Incredible. And we've got that to come with ours. But I have to ask you a question. When you saw him, Russ, live at that very point, I was doing a plug anyway for Prince Anyone. I know we're not doing today, but I'm just doing a plug for us. Did you think, I mean, you were 12 when you saw him live at that. He was the most famous man in the world, the most famous man in history, right? Russ, did you think from then to now later in life, did you think there's no way that one human being can stay at there? There's no way, because literally he is God.
Yeah.
Did you think about that later on?
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely here in the US, because I always tell people this, like, it's not lost on me that I got to see Michael Jackson on the Bad Tour in an arena like that. Because of everything else I'm going to say, please understand, I in no way take that for granted. Okay.
Oh, no.
However, I envy everyone who got to see him on the Dangerous Tour and history, but not because I feel like, I missed out, but because Michael's home country and my country were so busy treating him like such absolute garbage that he never came back. Like I never even had the chance to see him again. Because, and it's like the line in They Don't Care About Us. Like, I can't believe this is the land from which I came. It's like I was just couldn't believe that it had gotten that way, like so bad that he didn't even tour here. Like he's still on top of the world, literally everywhere else but here. So that was like really, really, really was a big thing for me, where I was so upset and bothered by that. But you just like, it's insane to me that they had knocked him down so much that he didn't even come through his own home country. And I've never been in any way upset at Michael for that. I've just been upset at the situation, and how far they, and it's one of the things that from an early age made me realize, like, okay, like if you're going against what is good for big corporations long enough, like they're going to tear you down, like no matter what, and I think Michael Jackson's an absolute case study in that.
I mean, when you read things today online, like, well, America turned their back on him, America treated him like, or I mean, how does that feel for you? That's gotta hurt a bit because like you've always been loyal to Michael,
Mm.
and I'm sure there's like millions in America who remained loyal. So like, does that hurt when you sort of read things like that? Does it sting a little bit? Does it?
No, because it's the only country I've ever lived in. I've only moderately visited other countries, like on a vacation type thing. So, no world expert by any means, but it is my understanding that the U.S. is really the country that like has for a long time openly let the media dictate public opinion more so than any other country. Again, I'm no world expert, but that's just kind of been my observation. So when people like, if someone, when I read it, I just go, yep, well, that's our fault for being stupid. And
But when you say like you're allowed, the media dictates how people feel, is that like the general public? So like the sort of mood of the public will be whatever the media is telling them.
Oh, here in the U.S., for sure, whatever the media tells people, they will absolutely just run with as a narrative, and that's just fact from now on. So even today, like anybody here in the U.S. that's still on the train of like, oh, he did this, that, and the other thing, it's people who absolutely whatever the media says is just like, because I always tell people at this point, if you believe anything, if you believe Michael Jackson ever harmed a child, you are willfully ignorant, because Google exists and you can find out you're wrong in 10 minutes. But there's people that just live their life by what the media tells them.
And then they'll go buy a cinema ticket and go see the biopic.
Right. Oh, yeah. But yeah, so that was my thing with, I always just I feel like if someone, like, for example, if I'm online and somebody says, oh, you guys in the US, for a long time, I would go, no, not me. No, not me. But now I more explain it to people. I'm like, well, you have to understand, you're dealing with an entire nation that blows with the wind, like whatever the media decides is the narrative, that's what the whole nation goes with. So it was just like, to be honest, for me, it was more embarrassing than anything. Like that, to have a person that big and not even be able to tour their own country because of how the media handles things and how much the general public just goes for it, it's just embarrassing. Like it's one of those things. It's like,
well, they're loving him again now, Russ.
Oh yeah,
they're loving him again. So yeah, exactly. So like you said, they're loving him now. Hey, let's wait for another year or two, and let's see what they think then.
That's my thing. I'm hoping this is sustained in any way. Like,
absolutely. And again, we don't care what they think at the end of the day. But it's that wind, as you just said, Russ, how people follow that wind. They go with that one direction.
Yeah.
What is the physical release going to be like? What is the physical release going to do success-wise? Are people going to buy it, or is it going to mostly be streamed?
I don't know. Like, I've seen a lot of hardcore MJ fans saying they're buying, but as much as I don't like it, physical media is just such a
Collector
thing now. Yes, it's more for collectors. So I don't expect physical drop to be that big of a deal. But I know that
I pre-ordered mine already.
Yeah, that's what I say. Like me and you, like we're gonna buy it, but. The streaming numbers, I think it's the number one stream movie right now.
There you go. It's number one, gentlemen. It's the number one streaming film. There you go.
Have they gone with streaming slightly too early, or does that not affect the Asian markets and like sort of that part of the world in terms of where we are today? I mean, we're at the billion, so, but I mean.
So I think it's different for each country. Like, again, like here in the US, like I couldn't go see it if I wanted to. You know what I mean? Like, and that's not because it came out on streaming. That's just because it's been out for 2 months, and that's how cinemas work here in the US. You're like, for it to stay in the cinemas here would have been like very abnormal for it to stay longer than it did here. So like, I'm happy that here in the U.S. people have a chance to buy it and either watch it for the first time or 7th or 14th or whatever. So yeah, I don't think that it did. I know it may have in some markets, but like
I think you make a point though, Ross. It's a Western thing, isn't it? The Asian market are doing their thing.
Like if it was still available to go see in the theaters, I'd probably still pay to go see it again, even though I own it digitally. But like, how many other people would at this point? You know,
the sing-alongs. So they're already releasing sing-alongs. Did you see that? So they've only just come out in a few countries, but I don't know what's going on. But I think they're going to start releasing sing-along versions now.
yeah, I hope.
But my question is, are they going to do something afterwards as well? I think they may even re-release this as another thing.
Yeah, I hope so too.
What, they may re-release it in another iteration as another...
Yeah, like another showing. They will do it again.
Well, my thing is, if they're going to do that, at least here in the U.S., Halloween is like a huge thing. And Michael Jackson owned Halloween like he always has. I always use 2019 as like the absolute lowest point for like MJ fandom when I always refer to it as the documentary was released.
The documentary I've never seen. I don't think I've seen it either. No.
I'm not into fantasy about harming children. So
No.
I won't watch it.
No.
You know what I mean? Like these people that like go out of their way to tell people to watch that, I'm always like, so do you always recommend fantasies about hurting children to everyone, or you know? But Michael Jackson absolutely owns Halloween, and he always has since Thriller was released. So I think if they're going to do it, I think that's a brilliant time to do it, like mid September or something, and just totally capitalize on Halloween season. You know, and then that could carry again another 2 months in the cinema.
Interesting.
I would love it if they do that. I mean, I'll go see it again in the theater. But if any movie ever lend itself well outside of like, you know, something like Pitch Perfect, which is like completely based on a song every couple of minutes in the movie, you know, like, if any movie ever lent itself well to, hey, get your friends and come to the theater and have a good time and sing along, it's this one. So I hope that they, you know, it'd be weird. I wonder if they'd have to recut it though, because like, you know, you have like, I don't know, I couldn't see going to the theater to be like celebratory and having a dance along and whatnot, and then like watching the early scenes of like Joseph abusing like, you know,
yeah.
I wonder if that's kind of the thought is like
interesting. And then obviously we get the Billie Jean performance, and then we've got Joe forcing his way into the party, celebrating in his air, going, "That's my son! That's my son!" I don't think people want to see that because it puts a damper on it, right?
No.
The line that follows that is the one that makes me want to reach through the screen and punch Coleman Diego in the face. Is when he says, "That's my son. That's a regular money-making machine."
Yeah. Well, that was the reality.
Oh no, I'm not saying that's inaccurate. I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah, I'm agreeing with you, Russ. It's terrible. It's terrible.
And it was probably watered down. It was probably, you know, played down. It was probably even, well, it was worse, wasn't it? It was,
How the hell did he cope? How did he cope with it? How did he cope?
That's what I tell my wife that all the time. I'm like, you know, if anybody ever wants to know why I admire this man so much, I've never seen somebody overcome so much and just keep on. Like, I told her if what happened to him happened to me, the album that I would have released instead of History would have been titled "F You," and the entire album would have been me listing off
spray painted.
The whole album would have been me listing off different ways everyone had done me wrong, because like of all the stuff he dealt with up till that point, you know? and then that would have been in the. And then, you know, you see this with the streaming company in the documentary, but like the cover would have been like something along these lines. You know what I mean? But he did even, you know, whatever. I would have been, I don't know, 20 or so when History came out. Like, I just marveled at the fact that he was like, all these things happen, but then also I'm going to put Little Susie on here. I'm going to put Earth Song, and I'm going to put Smile on this record, because like it's important to me that you know that you still need to be positive. Like, I would have never been able to do that. And, you know, so like when people ask, you know, like, you know, well, why do you admire him so much? I can cover it in just the History record, you know, and that's why what we're talking about today, like, it is so inspiring to me to know that, you know, it's the old adage of the truth runs marathons, right? Like, the fact that they perfectly can't stop this dude. Like, he's not even here to try to defend himself.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have to, because
And he doesn't need to.
to the tune of $1 billion, to the tune of Russians in stadiums watching this thing, to like all these clips that you see on social media of all these people, again, just like it was when Thriller broke, every race, color, creed, man, woman, and child all together enjoying themselves, and because of him. And he's not even here. That to me is just, my wife and I were walking into a restaurant this past weekend, and there were when we were walking up, there's like a outdoor patio thing, and there were two older Black ladies. I just looked in their 50s maybe, and I had on my left leg, because we live in Florida, so I always wear shorts. On my left leg, on the inside, I have a Prince tattoo, and on the outside of my leg, I have a Michael Jackson tattoo, same leg. And we're walking up, and these women who I've never seen in my life said, hey, slow down. I'm trying to see your tattoo. And they were on the Prince side of it, right? So me being me, I went running over to their table, and I was like, "Oh, there you go! Look!" And it's got a line from "Sometimes It Snows in April," and they were all excited. And I said, "Okay." And my wife knows this shtick enough now. She goes, "Wait for it." And so I go, "Oh, here you go," and I face down, and the two of them started applauding, like when they saw my Michael Jackson tattoo. And, oh my God! And then the woman said one of the nicest things anyone said to me in recent memory. She goes, "You are a gift." And
wow,
these are two strangers of a different race that I've never even met. And, Prince and Michael are the thing that, like, I'm a, average middle-aged white guy, and two women of color yelled at me, and I'm like, oh yes, like we can be united on this, right? That's the power that Michael still has. Like, and they're never going to be able to take it away, ever. It's never going to happen. That's awesome.
Is that a bank card?
That's my bank card. So every time I get a new bank card, my wife does this for me. She puts a Michael image on my bank card.
That's nice.
And I was in the post office a few weeks ago, and I was posting something, and I was paying, and the lady grabbed my bank card, and she said, "Oh my God." She goes, "The movie, have you seen the movie?" I said, I've seen the movie many times. She said, "I'm about to go see it." I said, "You're going to absolutely love it. And, just have a great time." But it was just really nice, really nice.
I always crack up when you, like, little things like that, like your bank card. Did you see the movie? As if you're like, nah.
No, I don't know who he is. I don't know who he is. Who is he?
Do you know what I love? She took the... She was dealing with me and wasn't really paying attention. And I handed her the bank card, and she went, I lost her shit, man. She was like, "Oh my God," this big grin on my face when I was leaving the post office. That's Michael.
Happiness. He brings happiness. He brings joy to people. Unbelievable.
That's the thing. I know I keep touching on the same point, but that's the thing is, he just, the media and quote the powers that be, they don't know how to deal with something like that. Like they know that division is easy, and it makes them money. Right?
Yeah,
they are like, if anything, they have to, which I couldn't be more happy about. They have to be just frustrated beyond belief of how, like, why can't we get rid of this guy?
And it's a beautiful feeling, Russ.
Oh, I love it.
Because we have been waiting for this.
Yeah,
it's such a moment in time, isn't it? It's such a moment to embrace and just to really be present for, and to appreciate, and to bask in it. But we don't get these opportunities. I mean,
we don't. But like, going back to what you said, Al, so we went to see Justin Timberlake last year at the Lytham Festival on the beach.
Oh yeah,
it's baking hot. Everyone. I just met Mel Gibson as well. I'd come all the way back from London meeting Mel Gibson, obviously, to come to this. So we're at the concert, and then all of a sudden, loads of smoke, and then before Justin comes out, he's playing Thriller. Everybody on the beach. It's like almost that scene from Trolls where you see all the trolls dancing up and down. Yeah. And there's two people in front of me, and they go, "Love his music. Love his music. Love his music."
Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, there's in my opinion, there's never been a better time to be an MJ fan is certainly not since '93. Like this is hands down the happiest that I've been as a fan for so long. Like I love seeing, I spend a lot of time, in which I don't think anyone's ever said this phrase before, but I spend a lot of time on Threads lately, on social media, because that place is just loaded with MJ fans talking and it's all positive. And I love seeing people go, for some reason on Threads, like Invincible's been getting a ton of love lately, which I'm like all for. And like when I see people that are like, I just heard Heaven Can Wait for the first time yesterday and I've had it on repeat, ever since. Like, there are those, I'm a bigger fan than you, that go into the comments, how did you get out here, Heaven Can Wait? And but me, I'm all like, welcome in, like, wait till you hear Butterflies. Oh, you're your pants, I'm all for these people that are like, I have a friend of mine whose daughter is 7 now, and he goes, and he's a huge MJ fan. But he texted me the other day and he goes, bro, if I got to hear Earth Song one more time on the that's all she likes Michael, and he's hoping to get her into more. But he said as soon as she heard Earth Song, he said every day they got to listen to it 3 or 4 times on the way to school every day.
That's really, really interesting. My daughter has to listen to Human Nature and Butterflies every day.
And it's so funny what we think about, like when Invincible was released and all the way up until MJ passed, there's so many people online that were like, sit around and be divisive about it. Well, here's what I don't like about Invincible, or here's why it doesn't work for me. And it's like, okay, well, look at these people who have never had that like jaded experience or anything, and they're hearing these songs for the first time and they're just blown away by them, So go on social media and search for like The Lady of My Life. I guarantee you're going to find a bunch of people who are like, oh my Lord, have you ever heard this song before? And it's awesome to see. Like, it's incredible. And when I see that again, I keep being like, boy, you wait till you hear. He released another album after that called Bad. Wait till you hear that. Like,
why is that?
But I love it. But I love it. Like, I'm not upset in any way. I'm like, yes, like you are. In some ways, I envy this whole generation that's going to hear them for the first time. It's like, imagine being, quote, a kid today. Like, by kid, I mean in your 20s. And never really delved into Michael Jackson at all, right? So like everybody else, you go to the biopic, and for some reason, the Human Nature scene, I mean, it's an amazing song and it's performed really well in the movie, but for some reason, that's like the thing that a lot of people are like, that's the moment where they were like, oh, I think I'm a Michael Jackson fan now, So imagine that, and then you go and you either stream Thriller or you go to Target and buy it or whatever. Imagine having to be able to just go to YouTube and laying eyes on Remember the Time for the first time right now, or you know what I mean? Like in some ways, I'm so jealous. I mean, I never tire of watching him or listening to him, so it's not like my experience is diminished, but. Wouldn't it not blow your mind if you went to this movie, you became a fan, you stream Thriller, and then you go on YouTube and you just catch whatever piece of brilliance, Ghosts or Know the Time or whatever, Smooth Criminal. I can't even wrap my head around what it would be like to see that for the first time right now. Like you would just be like, what? Like, and as amazing as Jafar was in the movie, ain't nobody Michael Jackson, right? So, when you go, if you were moved by Jafar so much that you became an MJ fan, like
you need to see the real thing.
I can't wrap my head around seeing the real thing for the first time. And there's so much that they all have to dig into now. There's just so much that like we all got to see it incrementally as it all came out. I can't even imagine being a person who right now has the ability to just go on YouTube and be like, it's in all these things for the first time. And again, I think that all is going to lend itself well to, because you got to remember when this film came out, a lot of us didn't really, we knew it was going to, be successful, but a lot of us didn't know like exactly. I don't think any of us could have foreseen
No.
how accepted he was going to end up.
No, because everybody has done. They flipped. Literally, you've heard of the phrase "turning face" or "turning heel" from wrestling, Russ. Literally, this is what people did. 1 second they were a heel, the next second they were a face for this man.
Now take that momentum and take it into the second movie, and know that the people who maybe either were ultimately against him, or, like you say, a certain age didn't know enough, right? And now they're huge fans. Now go into the marketing for the second movie, knowing that you have this like pre-installed audience who's already excited for it, who wasn't even excited for the first one, right? I mean, it's going to be bonkers, you know. And regarding the sequel, like you said before, they had already shot a ton of the sequel. Like, I think, who knows how accurate this is, but the quote I heard was that there was like 30, they shot like 30% of the sequel.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
And then their production, like we're shooting this at the end of June. Production starts next month.
Yeah. Apparently they've already been doing pickups from Neverland. Was it last week I saw? Somebody had put something on Instagram. And
what do you mean pickups, Mike?
I don't know what it was. They've obviously already shot loads of footage. They've shot all the way up till 1996. They've shot Michael doing Dangerous. They've shot, and again, did you see, Russ, that weirdly they had someone holding up the history? Was it the hand that you could buy the history merch hand, and it had the statue on the hand? Someone's got that up when he's performing Rock With You in the white T-shirt that we saw in the trailer when he's spinning with the white T-shirt on, falling to his knees. They've obviously gone all the way up to there, but they have shot so much stuff. They've shot the animals. They've obviously done the CGI stuff. If you go on YouTube, you can see all of Neverland restructured, and they have shot so much stuff. But apparently somebody...
that long. I don't.
What's that, Russ?
I'm sorry to interrupt. I didn't mean it.
Sorry.
How
I
dare
don't
you?
wait for the sequel to be anywhere near as long as it was to get the first one. I'd be surprised if it doesn't come out in 2028.
I was going to say, well, what's a time frame, guys, on this thing? Time frame on being like a realistic.
I'd be surprised if it doesn't come out around the same time in 2028.
2028
because they've shot so much already. You got to remember, one of the big delays too was that they had to do all that recutting because of the 93 thing, right? They know now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they know all that now. They know what they can do. I am certain that with all of this money coming in, Lionsgate has had the world's finest lawyers go over exactly what they can say and what they can't. That was probably all done before they greenlit the sequel, you know? So
yes, especially after what happened with this. Absolutely.
Yeah. This could not be more of a sidebar, but you mentioned they already shot the animals, and this reminded me, I don't think I've told Az this. I was recently alerted to the fact that, and again, I only moved to Jacksonville, Florida 4 years ago, so I'm still fairly new here. The Jacksonville Zoo has one of Michael's elephants.
Really?
Ali lives there. Yep.
Oh, wow.
And furthermore, I live one exit south of the Jacksonville Zoo. So my wife and I are going to, I mean, it's blazingly hot here right now, so we're not going to be able to go, you know, but next month or so, yeah, we're going to go visit Ali, which I think it's amazing that I happen to live one exit away from one of Michael's beloved animals, you know.
That's amazing.
Yeah. My wife and I run that Facebook group here for Jacksonville, Florida, and the woman, someone recently visited the zoo. They did a thing, and then I commented and said, "Oh, I'm going to go there because of this." And the CEO's wife replied to me and was like, "Oh, if you guys need anything, let me know. I'm going to be like, oh, I'm going to pet that elephant." I need something. I need.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that, Ross.
I'll go take the glove. I'll go take the glove and everything.
Yeah. Do it, man. Live your best life. Absolutely.
You just hit on something there. The glove. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show something to you too. 1 second. Keep talking. 1 second.
I need a glove. I think I need a glove.
You know, now I bothered to better webcam this time. You can actually see my BA jacket quite a bit better now as well.
Yeah.
It's perfect. That's the only thing I still don't like about the biopic. That Beta jacket looks like garbage in the movie. But yeah,
I love your jacket. It's awesome, Russ. It's
so
good.
It's pretty much an exact replica. And this bums me out. I got this off of Amazon like 10 years ago, and the same seller sells this glove, but it's not all over anymore. It's cloth on the inside and on the outside. So I got it when they were still doing them all over.
Yeah, I suppose in the interim now, the world has changed in terms of economics and money, so they've had to sort of restructure their budget and their
I'm certain of it. Yeah.
Underneath, what have we got here?
Oh wow.
Are they genuine rhinestones from one of Michael's gloves, or?
That's incredible.
I mean, Mike has a whole museum's worth of stuff in his place, collectible stuff, memorabilia. Is that genuine rhinestones, Mike? Is that genuine? Is that what we got here? Signature.
Oh boy.
Wow.
Very nice.
Very nice.
That's so cool.
I've got a bunch of secondhand paperback books, and you've got the stuff worth.
Hey, every single memorabilia is special, but I think because we're doing this episode, I just thought celebrating this with you two is so special. It's such a special time. Obviously, having my daughter experience all of this, not just from meeting Janet, not just from meeting his brothers, but experience this with you two as well, with your families. We're all here speaking today. But guys, we are in our zenith right now. Enjoy every single bit of it.
Yeah. I tell my wife that all the time. I'm like, all you need to know about, the unifying power of Michael Jackson is, look what's happening right here, right now. You know what I mean? Like, how are,
100%.
I'm on the other side of the world from y'all, and we're having a conversation. I got up at 4:00 in the morning, Eastern time, because
dedication.
Talk about Michael. You know what I mean? Like, there's nobody.
No.
In that. No. I'm a huge fan of many other artists, and there's nobody else that I've connected with so well all over the planet as MJ fans, or that would even consider, making this kind of time for,
Yeah.
He was just the man.
And we really appreciate you making the time, Russ. Because,
Absolutely, Russ. Absolutely.
It really is appreciated. I'm
excited about getting Lauren on here sometime, maybe on the weekend or something. I don't think there's anything she'll get up for that early on a weekday, but on a weekend we got to do it.
I'd love to have Lauren on. I absolutely love that lady.
She's fantastic. And it's funny, we talk about and again, this is still on point. You talk about Michael Jackson bringing people together and so on. I talk about this all the time. Like, my wife and I only met because we're huge Weird Al fans. Like, we both.
Yes, so I hear. Yes,
but I bring it back to all the time. I tell everybody, I'm like, there's a butterfly effect to everything, right? Like, everything that happens in your life. My wife and I, our entire story goes back to Michael Jackson's kindness. Like, when Weird Al reached out to Michael Jackson to do the Eat It parody, Michael Jackson was unquestionably the biggest star in the world, and Weird Al was a guy who made funny songs on a college radio station. Michael Jackson, in every way, had every right to be like, who? What? What?
Yeah.
And the story's twofold, because parody, at least here in the U.S., is protected to where Weird Al doesn't need someone's permission to do so he could have just released Eat It anyways, right?
Yeah.
But he doesn't, and that's further into the story. Like, that's the kind of person he is why the two of us work together so well. But our whole origin story goes back to Michael Jackson had every right in the world to get that request and be like, what? Like, what? How dare you even approach me? I'm, the biggest star in the world. But he saw it, and that's hilarious. And he didn't care that he couldn't do something to him, right? It wasn't like, oh, well, if this was Steve Martin or, like a bigger name, then I'd say yes. But this, no one's heard of this guy, right? Michael heard it and said that's hilarious, and then the relationship goes on where he loaned Weird Al the batter set for the Fat video and so on, but all like my wife and I's entire life goes back to Michael Jackson simply being kind, because that made Weird Al's entire career kicked his entire, and the Fat was huge for him.
Yeah.
And again, this is how it ties in later in the story is when Weird Al approached Michael to do a parody of Black or White, and Michael said, hey, I'd rather you not do this one because of the serious message, and this is, a big deal for me. And again, Weird Al's covered by copyright laws, so he could have just been like, well, you know what? I don't care. I'm doing it anyway. Like, you're the biggest star in the world now. And Weird Al said, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to respect Michael's wishes. And then he just kind of sat around and said, well, I guess I'll wait for the next thing. And the next thing was Nirvana. And when he did Smell Like Nirvana, that kicked off an entire new era to Weird Al's career.
Yeah.
And, I don't want to make this all about Weird Al, but the point is in respecting Michael Jackson's wishes, it ended up benefiting him in a huge way that would have probably not. If he just pushed through, it would have been like, oh, well, you're just the guy that does something on Michael Jackson every couple of years, And so, but the entirety of my wife and I met in 2022. Our entire origin story goes back to the fact that Michael Jackson just did something nice when he didn't have to.
Yeah.
I love the fact that like you gained respect for Weird Al for honoring Michael's wishes, and Lauren gained respect for Michael allowing Weird Al to, as you said, at a time where he was the biggest thing in the world, and he could have been a diva about it. He could have been a very source of
no, he had every right to. Be like, how dare you? And even Beat It, like Beat It is a very very, when he was used in anti-gang campaigns and whatnot, and for him to just be like, that's hilarious. And also, I think it's astute on Michael's part too. I think it's part of controlling the narrative, where at the heights that you're at, if you don't allow someone to kind of poke fun and whatnot, someone else is going to do it maliciously. And that's another thing about Weird Al. Everything Weird Al does, he's never making fun of things. He's always making fun with things. Like, if you notice, nothing about any of his work with Michael Jackson has ever been poking fun at Michael Jackson in any way. Like, even if you watch the video for Eat It, and he's like doing the dance moves and stuff, he's not making fun of Michael Jackson dancing. He's making fun of the fact that he can't dance. That's one thing that Michael loved, was that everything Weird Al did was not malicious.
Yeah.
And that's been like a big thing for my wife and I in our lives. But what you said, I love that like I had appreciation for Weird Al because of what he did for Michael, and now my wife has grown to be like, have an appreciation for Michael because of what he did for Weird Al.
Yeah. And thank God Weird Al was still working, because at the end of the day, Eminem obviously mocked him, and he quietly went and bought his catalog.
Oh, I love it. That's one of my favorite stories to tell people. I always tell people
it's incredible.
I'm always like, you want to hear about one of the most boss moves in the history of the world? And you know what I love about telling the story now is, over the years, you'd go, hey, you know that Eminem video for Just Lose It? And people go, yeah. Nowadays, when I go, you know that Eminem video for Just Lose It? People go, no. And
how funny he's changed.
And then you start to hum a little bit of the chorus, and they go, I don't think I remember. Now, I'm not, Eminem's a huge worldwide star. He's got plenty of songs that everyone knows. But what I'm saying, the one where he chose poorly to make fun of Michael Jackson is one that when you bring up to anyone, they're like, oh no, I don't remember that. Yeah. So I always have to tell people that, and then I have to get them to remember the song. And then when they go, oh yeah, I guess I do kind of remember that, then I go, okay, here's what Michael did. And then they're always like, what? I'm like, yep. Let's move, man.
I saw, my brother sent me recently, and I don't know if I've seen it a few years ago, but Eminem actually apologized to Michael Jackson live on stage during a concert. So I had a little bit of respect for him for doing that.
No, for sure. But but that move from Michael, man, just to be like, oh really? Have fun never making another dollar off your music ever.
Yeah, everybody turned on him. Everybody.
Well, he was an easy target. He was the easy target, wasn't he?
I'll never forget, just before I was moving to America, and I wonder again, Russ, what was I doing in Louisville, Kentucky? Why did I go there?
Did you see my comment? I left a comment with a guess. I'm not. I'm gonna. I don't want to be put too fine of a point on it. I'm gonna say you were there to visit distilleries because the Jack Daniel's distillery is there.
I was there for something that had 3 letters.
Oh,
Two of them are W.
KFC.
Two of them are W.
Oh, the KFC was great. The KFC was great.
They're headquartered there too.
OVW, and I'll leave it at that.
Oh, well done.
Two of them have a W. Two of the letters.
Yeah. I'll leave it at that. But before I was moving there, the trial was going on, and everybody around me said he was guilty. Every single soul in the universe, even Casper the ghost that came out the wall, said he's guilty. And I said, no, he isn't. And Lord behold, the verdict was said, and he was innocent, and people still would not accept the truth.
Yeah. You know what one of my favorite things is, and I know, again, I want to keep it focused on positive. One of my favorite things to watch is, and somebody put together a YouTube video about it, is that wretched soul of a person, Nancy Grace, who...
Yeah.
Well, he's the worst. But you can go on YouTube. Somebody made a wonderful compilation of, it's like 5 minutes of her every 2 seconds through the whole trial, just being like, and he's guilty. And when he goes to jail, and whatever. And then they cap it with, because she went live. She was beside herself excited. She went live when the verdict was read. And the deliciousness of the look on her face every time they say not guilty is hilarious. Like, she literally is just like, and like not genuine stunned. Like, she's not even like acting outraged for the camera. Like, she's like genuinely stunned. And this is a woman in her industry. They were all so. You got to remember, they went to bed every night dreaming about, oh man, we're gonna run the footage of him in a
eating porridge off the floor and all of that.
We're gonna run that, and this is gonna feed us for years. And then they were like, well, we looked at the fact and we find this to be horseshit, and the media just, it's like in that moment when you watch those clips of Nancy Grace, you can see her entire, like, she's like, I'm not going to be able to go on that vacation. I'm not going to be able to buy that other home, because the people who are in charge of looking at the facts have decided that your opinion doesn't matter.
Yeah. But they were so willing to go that far, they were going to have a reality show showing him in his cell.
Oh yeah, that's why we're still seeing this stuff today, because they're still trying to make all that money back on saying things that are untrue about Michael Jackson. It's a huge industry, and it shouldn't be. But I'm so excited that, and again, this is what we're here for today. To the tune of $1 billion, you're wrong, media. Like, you're wrong. Like, no one wants to hear you go on about negative things in the first place anymore, let alone things we know you're making up. Like, we can just Google it and find out you're wrong in 5 minutes.
I mean, this is another example, Russ. I mean, you just hit on the trial 2005. Like, it's another example of the media wanting to influence the narrative to the point where he was guilty, which the facts just trumped that. And it sort of ties in now with the biopic as well. The fact that, again, they wanted this to be almost like a trial, a cinematic trial experience. Oh, yeah. They wanted him to be guilty. And again, the truth and just people have just dictated over what the media wanted to create. They wanted to create this narrative again. And I mean, the same thing happened, I suppose, like with This Is It when he passed away. But like, at what point do the media take a look at this and think to themselves, well, we've been trying to destroy and ruin this man for 30 plus years. I mean, maybe we need to look at the other side of this. But as you said, it wasn't sort of feed into their machine or what they. Well,
you got to remember, like I say, there's no money to be made in Unity.
No.
So I think it's a thing we're going to have to deal with forever. Like, no matter how the sequel is, the media, like you said earlier, the media, nothing's going to be good enough. It doesn't matter what they cover in the sequel or how it's covered. It's going to be wrong in the eyes of the media, and in the reason is because there's a certain sector that will still always click on the negative thing, right? So that's what they're gonna try and do, is they're just gonna keep trying to leverage. And the good thing is, when you go out in the real world, and increasingly online, you talk to people know, like regarding 93, anytime anyone has ever said to me in earnest, I don't mean like somebody who I know is not going to be convinced or whatever, like in earnest, anytime anyone has ever said to me, well, I know you know more about this than I do, but like, why did he pay that kid off in 93? And I always tell people, I'm like, okay, well, first of all, I very quickly explain the whole, civil trial versus
criminal.
But I always say to people, I'm like, I tell people, I'm like, I think you're asking the wrong question on that. I'm like, the question is, if it wasn't about money, then why, when they got their money, did they disappear? And that always makes people be like, oh. And then I go, let me ask you this, and if they're a parent or if they're not, I always say, if you had a child, what is the dollar amount I could give you?
Yeah.
To not fully prosecute the person who molested your child.
Yeah.
Right. And every time they're always like, no, like there's no amount. There's no amount. I'm like, okay, so I think you're asking the wrong question. It's not why did he pay them off? It's why was that what they were after the whole time? Right.
Yeah. And why did other people keep coming back to him? If he really did what he did, that was on a whole public level of everybody knowing and saying he did it, why did all of those other people that are now accusing him, why did they go back if that was the case?
Right. Yeah. And so I always say that to people. And when you present it in a way of like simple critical thinking, people are always just like, oh, I never thought of it that way. And I always tell people, I'm like, you never thought of it that way because the media told you not to.
Yeah.
Like, and that's not me insulting someone going, oh, you're just a sheep and you call it the media. It's when it's everywhere that you look and it's just accepted as a public fact because the media said so, it's very easy.
It is, but a fool will never admit they're a fool.
Yeah. And that's it. They want to save face, don't they? People like Nancy Grace was wetting herself with joy at the thought of the prospect of him being locked up. I mean, as you said, Russ, like, there went her house, there went her new car, there went her holiday to the Bahamas, like, it's just that industry, and it sort of creates parasites out of these people, doesn't it? And they just, I don't know. I mean, they just want, even if, I honestly believe that if Geordie Chandler came out tomorrow and said, Michael never touched me in 93, in that, I honestly believe that there's people out there who would still believe he done it.
For sure.
Yeah.
There'd be some story to me. Oh, well, now we know where the $1 billion went. They paid him to come out and say that. Or, and
it would be that.
There could be 24-hour. Somebody could find a hard drive with 24-hour surveillance footage of Michael Jackson from 1982 to June of 2009, and people would say, "Oh, well, that's obviously doctored." You know what I mean? Like it just, that'd be good enough. So,
and that's the way the world works, doesn't it? It's like if God forbid, if any of us were accused of anything in the morning, if the police arrived at our door, if they came in here, they'd pick up comic books and they'd say, well, he's using that clearly to lure someone. Or, do you know what I mean? So there's all that stuff as well. Like this, I don't know. It can all conspire against you, can't it?
It can, but I think like I say, this is the happiest. Like, there's plenty of people online and everybody in the media still saying the same things that they've said forever. And as I know, I've discussed this with you at length. I've learned to quite literally block all that out. Like, I don't let any of it drag me down anymore. This past year has been, since I literally made the conscious choice to stop retweeting any media source or company streaming service that's doing anything, as much as I thought I was defending Michael, I came to the point that, like, wait a minute, I'm just doing free promotion for them. I'm shouting out into the void, but I've retweeted their thing or I've used their name, and that's what they want. And at the same time, I also finally stopped replying to anybody saying nonsense. I used to do that the whole, like, I felt like I really could change a heart or a mind by engaging with people. And now, because I put a lot of MJ content out on the internet and stuff, and anybody that comes along that has the usual thing to say, I just block them. Like, I don't even engage. I just block them. And it's been the happiest year of me being a fan since I decided to do that. And it kind of like culminated in what's happened with the biopic, you know, and everybody that I interact with online has great things to say about him, you know. So
I love what you've done there, Russ. I really admire you for it. And I've taken a leaf out of your book. And I like how you've just sort of created your own, you know, as you said, it's culminated in the biopic, but much of it is to do with you and your personal approach. And we don't need to give the noise attention and to reappropriate it and push it back out into the world by way of commenting, sharing, like getting worked up about it, losing sleep, getting upset about people out there who just and a lot of it is trolling from the media as well, and
for sure,
and a lot of it is trolling like the fan community specifically because they know that they're over.
You see, my thing is that it's, for the longest time I felt this whole like I need to defend Michael Jackson, like for a myriad of reasons, and what the success of the biopic proves to me is that I was right when I made the decision that, okay, I don't have to be engaged with this all the time. Like I don't have to be defending him all the time, right? And the success of the biopic to me proves that was the right path. Like when the media, a day or two before the film released here in the US started in with their barrage, there's a version of me that would have engaged with that for 2 whole days and been so mad about it and everything. And I just ignored all of it and let the success of the biopic speak for itself. You know, like that's, like I say, we're here to celebrate the biopic hitting $1 billion. I think if nothing else, that proves that we don't need to sit around defending this. You know what I mean? Like,
no.
like who he was, what he stood for, the actual facts, those speak for themselves without us having to spend time on it.
Well, it's been a reflective episode. I don't think it quite went the way we expected it to go. I think it's been a great episode. It
has. I'm basking in this right now with you two gentlemen. What a moment.
What a moment. I think that's what the biopic has done for a lot of us. I think it's been sort of cleansing and therapeutic for a lot of us who have been there all for the whole journey. And that's, I suppose, why it's not about us being sort of negative or somber. We're just being reflective because we've been on the roller coaster, and it does sort of make you look back at it all and wonder, like,
I never ever thought we'd get this.
This is such a perfect storm. I didn't think we would get this. One thought that I kind of had was, well, I know the movie's gonna be wildly successful no matter what. Like, I hope to enjoy it as well, right? Like, I was like, what if the movie comes out and it's not all that great, but still does blockbuster business, right? And like, I love the film, and it did all of this business, and it's changing minds and whatnot. It's a perfect storm,
Yeah.
The movie for me, I think it was around the 4th time that I saw it in the theater, and I was trying to figure out like why I was still getting like really emotional at different parts in the movie.
Yeah.
And the movie for me, it really feels like having him back for 2 hours. And and for the film to be what I not even wanted it to be, what I needed it to be, and be so commercially successful is like I could never have dreamed, and so it makes me just ecstatic.
And I can see all of us here now. We are all smiling.
We're all smiling. We're not.
We are all smiling. We are all smiling. And this is what life is all about, gentlemen. It is about enjoying life and celebrating your happiness.
Yep.
Absolutely. Anything in closing, gentlemen? We're going to round up this episode today.
1 billion.
1 billion, everybody.
1 billion.
1 billion.
Yep.
1 billion.
All right.
We got there. Michael is smiling down at us, and
you're smiling, aren't you, Mike?
And he's right there. It's been magnificent. It's been magnificent. Let's be positive and optimistic now for the second movie, whatever.
Absolutely.
And thank you, everybody, for watching and joining us today. Really appreciate it. Russ, thank you for being here, my friend.
Yeah,
Mike,
yeah.
thank you as ever for being here.
It's an absolute pleasure, and being here with everybody here and everybody watching. Hey, this is what it's all about.
This is what it's all about. This is it. Thank you, everybody. Catch you in the next one.
Thank you.